but for all the experiences that I had while I was Attorney General. My husband Joe and I and our 2 children, we are really just an ordinary middle-class family, and I want to tell you a little bit about our family. Joe and I were both born in Nashua, New Hampshire. We still live there with our 2 children, and our family is still very close to us. They all live within about 5 miles of us, including our parents, aunts, uncles, my grandfather that's well over 90 years old and still lives on his own. And they are a big part of the fabric of our lives, and we care deeply about the state of New Hampshire. One of the other things we care deeply about as a family is a commitment to public service. And I saw so many of you stand up here tonight who have served in our military, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. My husband served in the Iraq War. He served flying the A-10 Warthog, and he still serves in the National Guard. I served for 11 years in the Attorney General's office, so that commitment to public service is really a big part of our family. And people have asked me, why are you considering running for the United States Senate? Well, the other 2 members of our family are why I am looking to do this. We have 2 children, Catherine, who's almost 5 years old, and my son Jacob, who's 2 years old. In fact, his birthday was yesterday. And as the mother of 2 children, I have really seriously begun to wonder what the future will hold for our children. Because unfortunately, I think that some of our elected officials in Washington have let us down. They've been spending money that we don't have. They have accumulated a public debt that we cannot afford. They are mortgaging our children's future. And Paul Hodes, who is running as a Democrat for this seat, he voted for a budget that is going to double our national debt in 5 years and triple it in 10 years. We've seen the spending in Washington. Paul Hodes and Nancy Pelosi are spending our money by the trillions and trillions and trillions. And to put it in perspective, and I've used this example in other places, I'm going to put it in terms of Red Sox, because I'm sure there's a few Red Sox fans here. Well, if the Yankee fans are here, we're going to have to. If you bought every single home ticket at Fenway Park, for every game you could buy for the next 6,000 plus years, all of those Red Sox tickets to all those home games, and that's $1 trillion. Can you imagine if you could keep that money in your pocket and spend it as you see fit? That is a tremendous amount of money, and we are accumulating a public debt that is trillions and trillions of dollars. The current budget has more deficit spending than the entire 234-year history of our nation combined. And what has all this spending gotten us in Washington? It's gotten us a record public debt that we will have to pay, and that's why I said this is about our children, because it's not just about us having to repay it, it's us leaving it for our children. And we have always made a commitment as a country that we would leave our country better for the future of our children. And I think we owe it to them when it comes to reining in spending and this public debt to make sure that we make much more responsible spending decisions going forward. And so when I look at all this spending, unfortunately I'm worried that it's going to bankrupt our nation. And so I'm hoping to say enough is enough. And I'll need every single person's help in the room here to do that. I think Washington needs a really strong dose of New Hampshire common sense. You can't spend money that you don't have. One of the experiences that Joe and I have, and I'm sure many here in this room have as well, you sit around your kitchen tables and you prioritize with your budget and you live within your means. And I don't believe that our government should be any different. We need a balanced budget. I know that Senator Odell, who works hard in our state level, works hard. Our representatives, they work hard to get a balanced budget. And in Washington, D.C., they should be working hard to get a balanced budget and to get this spending in control. Washington bailed out the banks, the auto industry, and we also saw that they spent nearly $1 trillion on the stimulus package. And that was billed as a short-term boost to our economy. But unfortunately, some of that money doesn't get spent until 2019. And so I would ask, do we need to spend the rest of the money? Given the amount of debt that we're accumulating, shouldn't we be asking, is it time to rein in spending?